That's the biggest it's gonna get for kids boxing. That's the national USA Boxing National Championship for 2025.
All right, guys, we are back on the Mama Said Knock You Out edition of the Thinking Out Loud radio show. Guys, I'm enjoying this interview with boxing phenom AJ and his parents, Supreme and Antonio, on this exciting edition of the Thinking Out Loud radio show. In the first segment, we were talking to AJ about his boxing interests. How did he get involved and interested in it? And they shared with us initially that it wasn't really because AJ had an interest. It was more his father wanted him to be able to protect himself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But he saw that AJ had something in him, something innate in him that sparked an interest for not just his father, but even for AJ as well. And so in this segment, guys, we want to talk to AJ about that first match, that first boxing match, and what was it like? I want you, AJ, to walk us through what was the training like, the preparation for it, and I want you to share with us what was the outcome.
All right, so my first fight, it was like nerve breaking, and I was kind of nervous and scared because it was my first fight, and it was just nerve breaking. And for the training, I did 2 miles every day.
Wow.
And I sparred sometime out of the week, and I never gave up, and I stayed consistent in the gym.
So how long did you train for that fight?
For 4 months.
4 months training.
Actually, it was a little longer than that. It was actually 9. It was 9 months before he started competing.
9 months. Okay.
Train 9 months. But during that time, a lot of the coaches would see AJ. This is before he even started competing. They would say, "Man, he's gonna be a national champion one day." And as a dad, I'm listening because now they've been around kids, training kids for years. And folks, for me to hear that, I don't know if they just telling me this or they believe like I believe,
Right.
But they would tell me he's gonna be a national champion one day, and this is before he even had his first fight. So 9 months he came out the door and won 8 straight fights before he lost his first fight, which was in the Silver Gloves Regional Championship. That's when the first time that he lost. So he came in second place in the regionals.
Wow. So you won your first fight?
Yep.
Man, I thought you were going to tell me that I wasn't successful with that first fight. I had a lot of nerves in me, but you won your first fight. Man, that's remarkable. How did you feel afterwards?
I was happy and excited.
You were happy and excited. All right. How did your parents feel? I know y'all were just brimming with pride and with all kind of confidence, right?
Yeah, I was nervous. I stay nervous.
Right. I think moms, that's probably was usually the case for most women in this situation. Because I was going to ask, as you and Antonio, what were your initial feelings during that first match and the preparation for it? Were you a bundle of nerves, or were you confident that your son was going to get the job done? Or was it a combination of both?
I didn't know, to be completely honest with you, to see him out there, just to see him in front of everybody, but he does have an awesome stage presence. He's nothing like me. He is not fearful. He really shocked me. So I don't know.
What about you?
Now, I was nervous. Of course, I'll be nervous because you don't want anything to happen to
your son, right?
You got to understand, boxing is not a game, so it can be anything can happen. But I knew deep down that he was prepared to. and he knew how to protect himself. But then I'm also thinking, okay, I need him to win because if he doesn't win, I know it's going to devastate him. We pulled it through. He controlled the fight. He knocked the kid down 2 times, I think, in that fight. And it just showed, okay, that training paid off. But yeah, sometimes in the beginning, I was worried whenever he got in the ring. I was always like, man, I hope he don't get hurt. But now that he's got so many fights, he's close to 30 fights now, that doesn't cross my mind because I know he trains with kids that are 14, 15, 16. He's only 11, and he get them problems. So I know he can protect himself. So that doesn't bother me anymore.
Man, that is just something. I can't stop smiling, guys, because I'm not only a boxing fan, but in a past life, I wanted to be a boxer. I enjoy watching, like many of you, Rocky, and I watched all of those movies. Obviously, Mike Tyson was a hero of mine, along with Muhammad Ali. I like Mike more because he had a ferociousness, he had a ferocity to him that when he got in the ring, he would get it done. It didn't take him 12 rounds. It didn't take him 10 rounds to knock somebody out. He would do it in the first 2 rounds. Sometimes in the first 2 minutes, they be gone. And so now I'm a little bit older. I work out at the gym, and I'm always hitting the heavy bag and taking videos of myself, whatever. I'm like, I'm living again vicariously through young people like AJ because that was something that I might have wanted to do when I was younger. But again, we're so proud of you, AJ, and all of your accomplishments. And speaking of your accomplishments, tell us about your amazing record and your championships.
My amazing record is I am 20-7.
Say that again. You are what?
I am 20-7.
20-7. That means you've won 20 fights and you've only lost 7 times.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been boxing?
For 2 years.
2 years? Wow. That is truly amazing. Truly amazing. And how many belts do you have?
I have 4 belts.
4 belts. Now, I know you want to show us because first of all, I see you got a medal on now, right? Show us your medal.
And that's the big dog right there. That's the biggest it's gonna get for kids boxing. That's the national USA Boxing National Championship for 2025. No,
Get out of
24,
here.
because it's in December.
Wow. Tell us about that one before you show us the belts.
So this one was when we went to Kansas, and I fought this really tough kid. The last fight, and I was excited when I won. And his name was Noah Lozada.
Noah Zion.
And that tournament is kids from all around the country, the best of the best. And it's a tournament, so he had to fight 3 kids in order to make it to the championship. So we're there for an entire week, and they may fight every day, and they may miss a day here and there, but a lot of the kids end up fighting every day while we're there. But in the bracket he was in, it was only, I want to say it was 7 or 8 kids. So he ended up having to fight 3 times, and he won the championship match.
Congratulations, man. That's the post that I saw from Tapring that really sparked my interest. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is a problem. He is going to be somebody. So now show us the belts because there's a picture of you that you took with all of the belts that you have. Look at this, guys. This is truly amazing. Wow.
This one I got from the King of Jungles in 2023 that I won. And this one is also from 2023 when I went to go fight in Pennsylvania. And this belt came from my origin when I got my second belt. And this belt was pre-made because I had to give at my old gym, I had to give my old belt to my coach that I wear the belt. So my dad ordered me another belt just like this.
Wow.
Let's see. These are
And then he has all his medals or something like that.
these are playing everyone.
These are the boxing medals and various other awards that this young man has won and amassed over his 2 years in boxing. This is truly remarkable. Truly remarkable. Award-winning boxing phenom, AJ. Wow. You guys, let me tell you, you guys better make some room at the house. Y'all need to have just an award room. You got to have all your belts and everything mounted and your medals and everything. You gotta get a trophy case or some way, some kind of way to memorialize this young man's accomplishments.
And this was a big deal as well. This was at the Golden Gloves, and they gave him the best prep fighter of the year. After he had already run the championship, they gave him an additional award for the best prep fighter of the year.
This is truly amazing. I hope you guys that are watching us and listening to the podcast are appreciating the brilliance and the genius of this young man, this young boxing phenom. And I'm just honored and thrilled to have the opportunity to be one of the first to interview him. I'm not sure if you've been in these kind of environments before to talk about your accomplishments and talk about your achievements, but I dare say you better get ready. You better get ready because I think you're going to be in the spotlight for a long time, young man. And I'm just really proud of you. And let me say this before we get ready to go to break, because your dad talked about how when you got started, well, before you got started, the interest for him came from how you got bullied and possibly beat up in football. But now that you have 4 belts and now that you have all of these, you're 20-7, your 20-7 record, you're a national champion, ranked #1 in the country. You don't have any more problems like that at school. You probably get a lot of props from your classmates and yeah, you don't get beat up anymore, do you?
No.
Yeah.
But I actually honored him yesterday. It was Friday. I'm sorry. They actually
Okay.
honored him at school. Yeah.
It's well deserved. It is definitely well deserved, AJ. Guys, we're getting ready to take our last break, but I know you guys are enjoying the Mama Said Knock You Out edition of the Thinking Out Loud radio show with our boxing phenom, AJ, and his parents. I'm just so excited for him. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. It's the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We'll be right back.